Hey class, welcome to the video for this week. So today is going to be a short video because, as you know, we've just been primarily doing our kind of our in-class drafting and stuff like that. So I hope you guys found that useful on Monday. I do want to spend today talking about the rough draft you have coming up. So obviously you have your rough draft for Project 4 due this week. Um, yeah, so obviously you have your rough draft for Project 40 this week, and so I want to talk a little bit about the rough draft itself. I want to talk about the expectations for the paper one more time, so that way you guys know you're kind of on good footing moving forward. So you all have your literature reviews back if you turn them in. Again, I was really pleased with these. I think you guys did a really good job. I tried to make note of places in the essay where you could either expand your synthesis, or maybe flesh out the discussion, stuff like that. And so hopefully those helped you think about how to revise this for Project 4. Because what happens is when you expand those moments of synthesis or where you spend some time really trying to trace the conversation, what you're doing is you're giving yourself something to respond to in your research proposal. So in other words, you can't really make an argument or build off your research if you haven't given your audience or your reader enough information about what those people are saying, right? You can't argue with someone or talk to someone unless there's a conversation on the other side. And so really focus on those revisions, making sure that you are, kind of clarifying that conversation of showing them what that is. Okay, so a couple things that I'll do first. Your peer review groups are up, so go to the same place. You'll see one for Project 4. So again, upload those as normal, and then make your comments on those over the weekend. And again, what we're looking for here is the normal stuff, right? Is the author being clear? Are they presenting their arguments in a really clear way? Are all the elements that we're looking for? So the things that I want you to focus on explicitly are, do you see good moments of synthesis there? Like, is the author really giving you an understanding of what the conversation is? And when you get down to like the proposal idea, is it clearly worded? Is it direct? Does it actually address the problem, right? And so those are the things that I want you to look for. Okay, so moving into what the draft actually will look like. Again, I want to see substantial revisions to your lit review. And remember, I want you to either highlight the places where you're making revisions or make a note somewhere in the text that says, like, hey, this is where I spent my time doing these revisions. This is what I want you to focus on. I want you to do this so that I don't spend a lot of time giving you a feedback on stuff that I've already given you feedback on. So make sure you note in the essay, like, where you want me to direct my attention, and that's what I'll do. All right, so in that review or in that the rough draft, I want to see some revisions to your review, and I also want to see your proposal idea. I propose, etc., as well as at least an outline for your discussion section. So now that you have your idea in hand, how would you make it happen? What are the steps that you would take, right? So if you're doing a scientific study, what would that look like? What kind of study would you do? What would your methods be? Stuff like that. I said discussion section a minute ago. I meant draft of your methods section. Sorry about that. So I want to see the lit review and your methods section. All right, so let's take a look at the assignment prompt just one more time, just to give us a sense of it. Again, all we're doing is trying to come up with some sort of solution or approach to the topic or problem that you identified in your lit review. So whether that is, for example, someone is doing a really interesting work on animal testing. Someone's doing some really interesting work on, like meditation. So what is your response to that? How do you want to enter those conversations? And so once you have your literature review, once you have that conversation, how do you want to enter the conversation? So these are the things that we're looking for. If we come down here, and this is the rubric that I'll be using to grade as well, do you do all the things in your introduction that you need to do? So again, the same stuff that you're already doing, introducing the topic, defining any key terms that you might need to do, providing us with an overview of how you've structured the essay, and using some research to flesh out the idea. Literature review uses parallel structure to follow the introduction. So all this means is that the roadmap that you provide up here is what you're actually doing in the essay, that you're synthesizing your research, all those kind of things. Your method section again, so this is where once you've given me what your idea is, you're telling me how you would make it happen. So for example, I propose to do a research or to do a survey in order to gather more information. Okay, great. What does that survey look like? What questions are you going to ask? How would you disperse that survey? What kind of, volunteers would you need? All that kind of thing. Proposal discussion. So this is where you're thinking about, like, how does your idea or your solution actually address the topic. How feasible is it? What are the limitations? And so those are the things that we're going to look for. So as you draft this, as you're thinking again about the conversation, and as you're talking about like what are people saying about this, um, keep these things in mind that, when you come in with your idea, you're going to have to talk to us about these things, and that your idea actually has to address the problem in some way. Now, I want to be clear, that doesn't mean you have to like solve all of the problem. You don't have to solve the entire, like you don't have to fix, for example, uh, I just read an interesting paper about like sexual assault in Hollywood. You don't have to solve that problem immediately. You just have to think about like what is the first step? What is the first thing that we could do to start to resolve that issue, right? And so just think about it in those terms, okay? So that's what we're looking for. And we're going to go up here to week 15. We'll take a quick look. As you can see, this is what we've got coming up. So on Monday, all we're going to be talking about is the research proposal as well as Project 5, and then everything will be due on a week from Sunday. Okay. So this is it, guys. We are in the home stretch. This will be our last week together, and then we are good to go. So if you do have any questions or concerns, obviously email them to me. I'm happy to answer those, as you see fit. Now, I know that a lot of you have exams and stuff coming up, and so I am somewhat okay with kind of fudging the length of time to upload and respond your rough drafts. I want them up by Friday, but if you need to take until like Saturday, that's fine. What's important to me is that you get those rough drafts up there over the weekend so that we can all take a look at them and we can kind of spend the week thinking about revisions and stuff like that. So before you email me, hey, can I have a day extension on the rough draft or anything? Yes, you may if you need it, but again, get it up sooner. That way I can get you feedback sooner, and that way you have more time to work on, completing the final draft. Okay, so that's not to say that you can like wait a week, right? But if you need to like Saturday to upload the draft, that's fine. I'm fine with that. All right, guys, I look forward to hearing from you if you need any help over the weekend, and to seeing you guys on Monday. So I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye.